wondering, what is it like doing policing during a pandemic? We thought we would ask that question. I'm pleased to welcome back our dear friend, Chief Ken Zapovsky, who is the Chief of Police for the Rush Township Police Department. Chief, how's it been dealing with a pandemic and your regular policing patrols?
Oh, it's been interesting to say the least. We're very fortunate though, because one of the things that police officers traditionally look for when a job is they look for the ability to have variety, to have a challenge. And for everybody in the country this year, it's been a challenge for everyone. It's working very well for us. We are able to do the traditional police service that we have given to the community. But one of the things that's different, during this pandemic was we're able to emphasize more on the service part of protect and serve. We created a program where we were able to get food, some essential groceries, essential household products, and medicine to people who are at-risk people because of their health. So instead of those individuals having to venture out and potentially go into an area where they might be exposed, the police department was able to almost act as a courier, if you will, where we're able to go get those items and bring them to the individuals and have, a touchless contact when we would give them the items that they needed. So, I mean, that was very nice, because in that situation, a lot of people were probably thinking, what can I do? How could I help? And maybe some people might have felt powerless or felt isolated or alone. So now they have somebody to interact with. So those people, got to see the police officer and talk to them and, have some polite interaction in addition to being able to provide the service for them. So, that was something I'm very proud of. And, we were the first department in the area to provide such a service.
How do police deal with social distancing? And you told me something interesting. You've been dealing with that all along.
Oh, absolutely. One of the things back when you're in the police academy, when you're being instructed, they talk to you about a thing called a reactionary gap. That's a fancy technical term that basically means social distancing. So back when you're first learning to become a police officer, that's one of the things they instill in you, because the farther you are away from someone, the easier it is for you to observe a threat and respond to that threat. So the concept of keeping your distance from people, although like normal individuals in a social setting might not get that because we're used to being a certain distance from each other, law enforcement automatically builds that into you. So when you're interacting with somebody, you already have that distance. So, that's a pretty interesting concept. Also as traffic stops evolve, you might be dealing with someone who might be in a car, whether they committed a violation or they need assistance. Well, one of the tools that we utilize is the concept of a passenger side approach. So this way, most of the time, if you look at cars driving down the road, every car has a driver, not every car has a passenger. So by using that theory, we can approach on a passenger side, which makes it safer for the officers because you don't have to worry about being in incoming traffic when you're going up to talk to the individuals. And then also, too, it keeps you a greater distance away from the driver of the vehicle when you're talking with them. And it significantly reduces the exposure opportunities.
So you always had to be safe when you were on a scene in case there was a hazardous substance near you.
Oh, absolutely. The concept of universal precautions that, anybody that's involved in any type of contact with members of the public should be taking those things. And that's one of the things that were drilled into us, early on in our career. EMS training, if you go for first aid or CPR, one of the things they want you to have are those safety devices. So this way you have a barrier when you're doing CPR, or gloves when you're doing first aid. So this way you don't be exposed to any of the pathogens that might be involved in someone's blood or bodily fluids. And that's kind of the same concept today.
I'm glad to hear that everything went well with the deliveries when you were helping the community out, but you're always there to help if anybody needs anyone. They should never hesitate to call the police.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things I'm very proud about in our community is that the whole Northeast Pennsylvania area has a fantastic relationship with their police department. The police officers in the community go hand in hand. And, a lot of the ugly things that we see on TV over the last few months that maybe upset somebody or made them change the channel, that is not happening here because we already built those inroads to make those relationships, and the public believes in the authority the police department is using in a fair and just manner. So I'm very thankful that, police officers in Northeast PA do not have to deal with that situation because, you know, we've already done the homework. We've already laid the foundations. We've already done everything we can and continue to do to foster those relationships.
Today's news feature is brought to you by Falvello Law Firm. Have you been injured in a car accident? Call Falvello Law Firm. Your case is our fight.